Are we ready?
Sadhu, you seem to be talking, but you're on mute.
Srinivas, are we ready?
Okay, the countdown has started. Mangala, you'll be up shortly.
Okay. Am I supposed to see it on the screen?
Mangala, you're live on YouTube now.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Mangala. I'm a very proud volunteer of OSAAT. On behalf of the OSAAT Board of Directors, the executive team, and volunteers, it's my pleasure to welcome all of you to Vidyaadana 2020. Last week, we were very fortunate to celebrate Deepavali with our loved ones. Next week, we will be celebrating Thanksgiving. Today, we have come together with a common goal to share our blessings with thousands of children in rural India. We, the OSAAT family, certainly feel blessed to have your gracious presence tonight. So, with our hearts filled with hope and gratitude, we welcome each and every one of you to Vidyaadana 2020. We have a very exciting program lined up today. So I'd like to begin the program with an invocation prayer by our young volunteer, Anushka Srinivas.
शरणु सिद्धि विनायका शरणु विद्या प्रदायका शरणु सिद्धि विनायका शरणु विद्या प्रदायका शरणु पार्वती तनय मूर्ति शरणु वाहना शरणु पार्वती तनय मूर्ति शरणु मूषिक वाहना शरणु सिद्धि विनायका नितिल नेत्रन देवी सुतने नागभूषण प्रियने नितिल नेत्रन देवी सुतने नागभूषण प्रियने तटिल तांकिट कोमलांगने कर्णकुण्डल धारणे तटिल तांकिट कोमलांगने कर्णकुण्डल धारणे शरणु सिद्धि विनायका शरणु विद्या प्रदायका वाहना शरणु सिद्धि विनायका बटमूतिन पदकहरने बाहुहस्त चतुष्टने बटमूतिन पदकहरने बाहुहस्त चतुष्टने ईट उडुಗೆಯ ಹೇಮ ಕಂಕಣ पाशाङ्कुश धारणे ईट उडुಗೆಯ ಹೇಮ ಕಂಕಣ पाशाङ्कुश धारणे शरणु सिद्धि विनायका शरणु विद्या प्रदायका शरणु पार्वती तनय मूरुति शरणु मूषिक वाहना शरणु सिद्धि विनायका ಕೂಕ್ಷಿ ಲಂಬೋದರನೆ ಈಕ್ಷು ಚಾಪನ ಗೆಲಿದನೆ ಕೂಕ್ಷಿ ಲಂಬೋದರನೆ ಈಕ್ಷು ಚಾಪನ ಗೆಲಿದನೆ ಪಾಕ್ಷಿ ವಾಹನ ಶ್ರೀ ಪುರಂದರ ವಿಠಲನ ನಿಜ ದಾಸನೆ ಪಾಕ್ಷಿ ವಾಹನ ಶ್ರೀ ಪುರಂದರ ವಿಠಲನ ನಿಜ ದಾಸನೆ ಶರಣು ಸಿದ್ಧಿ ವಿನಾಯಕ ಶರಣು ವಿದ್ಯಾ ಪ್ರದಾಯಕ ಶರಣು ಪಾರ್ವತಿ ತನಯ ಮೂರುತಿ ಶರಣು ಮೂಷಿಕ ವಾಹನ ಶರಣು ಸಿದ್ಧಿ ವಿನಾಯಕ ಶರಣು 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 Thank you.
Thank you, Anushka. That was a beautiful prayer. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure now to introduce you to OSAAT USA's President, Ravi Shankar. You know, there was a time when we were literally doing one school at a time. The early years were a learning curve for us. We were so focused on finessing all our processes, recruiting volunteers, and basically getting ourselves established. So over the past couple of years, with Ravi's abundant energy and ideas, we have made tremendous progress. Under his leadership, we have grown to many schools at a time, fast and furious, not only in terms of the number of schools, but also the partnerships with all organizations all over the United States. So I'd like to invite Ravi now to formally welcome everyone and introduce the team. Ravi, over to you.
Thanks, Mangala. Good evening, good morning, wherever you are, all our extended OSAAT family. It is my honor and pleasure to welcome all of you to Vidyaadana 2020. This event is really special for us for many reasons. We are 15 years of existence of OSAAT with a successful journey. 50th school as of today. It's a great achievement. Added almost 20 plus partners to our OSAAT family. Over past 3 years, we added many individuals, corporate donors, and volunteers to our OSAAT family. We hope to continue to expand our family with friends like you supporting us. Today, we are honored to have Dr. Gururaj Deshpande, our keynote speaker for today. Desh is a founder of Deshpande Foundation, a global philanthropic organization nurturing innovation and entrepreneurship in universities and cities across USA, Canada, and India. And also, we have Sri Vinod Ampapur, our chief guest for tonight. He is serving as a trustee of Infosys Foundation, India. A heartily welcome to both of you. And also, our India team is here with us. We welcome them from virtual hug. A very special welcome to internationally acclaimed Guru of Flute of world, the Sri Pandit Pravin Godkindi and team, all set to make this a wonderful magical night. So with our heart filled with hope and gratitude on behalf of entire OSAAT family, we welcome each and every one of you. I'm very proud of our team that has taken OSAAT to where it is today. It's my honor and privilege to introduce people behind this organization's success. Our board of directors, Mr. B.V. Jagdish is the pillar. Raju Rawaswamy and Vijay Pular added as the new board members from past 2 years. And they are the source of tremendous strength and guidance for us. The executive team comprised of Ramesh Javagal as the vice president, Vadhu Melanalli as the secretary, Suhas Mutatkar as secretary, and Naren Kunudi as our treasurer. And all our core team, they bring almost 150% of their passion and dedication to everything they do for OSAAT. Welcome to all of you guys for the Vidyaadana event. Our India team is a backbone led by Sri Vadiraj Bhatt, and we have a wonderful almost 100 plus volunteer force here in US and also in India. Truly our heart and soul of this organization, right? They are working tirelessly across the board with a great effort. All of you, our friends, motivate us with your generosity and personal examples of the good to you, for the society. Last but not the least, we would like to welcome all our donors to this a wonderful evening. We have a wonderful program planned today. We look forward to a great evening with all of you. Once again, a warm welcome to all the donors, well-wishers, and our friends, families, to our extended OSAAT family. I would like to say the family is really growing. If we are we wanted to reach a goal of 100 schools in next 1 year. We need all your support and help in order to grow this organization. Again, welcome to our OSAAT family. And as we move forward, our executive secretary is our principal or the backbone of this event, especially the Vidyaadana event. He is going to give more details regarding our progress, what we made within the OSAAT and how much money we raised, and all the details will be coming soon. Before that, I wanted to over to Mangala for the next announcements. Thank you all.
Thank you, Ravi. Ladies and gentlemen, we have put together a short and sweet video about the schools that we have completed since Vidyaadana last year. This video shows you the schools we presented for adoption last year and the utilization of the funds we raised. So Srinivas, let's have the video, please.
ಶೌಚಾಲಯ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ 4 ಜನ ಹೆಣ್ಮಕ್ಳು ಒಳಗ್ ಹೋಗ್ತಿದ್ರು, ಒಬ್ರು ಹೊರಗ್ ನಿಂತ್ಕೋತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ಬರ್ತಾರ ಇಲ್ವಾ ಅಂತ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಿಕ್ಕೆ. ಹುಡುಗರಾದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲಾದ್ರೂ ನೋಡ್ಕೋತಾರ, ಬಟ್ ಹೆಣ್ಮಕ್ಳಿಗಾಗ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಕೊಠಡಿಗಳು ಮತ್ತೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಹಾಳಾಗಿತ್ತು. ನಾವು ಬಿಸಿಲಲ್ಲಿ ಕುತ್ಕೋತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ, ಸ್ಟೇಜ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕುತ್ಕೋತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ, ತುಂಬಾ ಕಷ್ಟ ಇತ್ತು. ಅಂತದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ OSAAT ಅವರು ನಮ್ಮನ್ನ ಗುರುತಿಸಿ ಶೌಚಾಲಯ ಮತ್ತೆ ಕೊಠಡಿಯನ್ನ ಕಟ್ಟಿಸ್ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಇಂತ ಶೌಚಾಲಯಗಳಿಲ್ಲ, ಅಷ್ಟು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಕಟ್ಟಿಸ್ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ OSAAT ಅವರು. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಸಾಕಾಗಲ್ಲ.
ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಕೊಠಡಿಗಳು ಒಂದು 7-8 ಕೊಠಡಿಗಳಿದ್ವು. ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಕೊಠಡಿಗಳು ಸಹ ಸುರಿತಾ ಇತ್ತು. ಮಳೆ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ಮಕ್ಕಳನ್ನು ಸಹ ಕುತ್ಕೊಳಕ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಕೆಲವೊಂದ್ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಮಳೆ ಬಂದಾಗ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಚೆ ಕಡೆ ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅಲ್ಲಲ್ಲಿ ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಾವು ಪಾಠ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ. ಈಗ ನಮ್ಮ OSAAT ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯವರು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಸುಸಜ್ಜಿತವಾದ ಕೊಠಡಿಗಳನ್ನ ಕಟ್ಸ್ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಟಾಯ್ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಫೆಸಿಲಿಟಿನೂ ಇದೆ. ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೂ ಸಹ ಅನುಕೂಲಕರವಾಗಿದೆ.
ನಮ್ಮ ಶಾಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮೊದಲು ಈ ರೀತಿ ಆನ್ಲೈನ್ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ಅನ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಡಿಜಿಟಲ್ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ಅಂತ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ಅದೇನು ಇರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಈ ಕೊರೋನಾ ಅನ್ನುವಂತಹ ಸಂದಿಗ್ಧ ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿ ಬಂದಾಗ ನಾವು ಶಾಲೆ ಲಾಕ್ಡೌನ್ ಆಯ್ತು, ಶಾಲೆಗಳನ್ನ ನಾವು ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ರೂಲ್ಸ್ ಆದ್ವು. ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಕಲಿಕೆಗೂ ಸಹ ನಾವು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಸಹಾಯ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅನ್ನುವಂತಹ ಪ್ರೋತ್ಸಾಹವನ್ನ ಮತ್ತೆ ಉತ್ಸಾಹವನ್ನ ನಮ್ಮ ಶಿಕ್ಷಕರಲ್ಲಿ ತುಂಬಿದ್ರು.
ಅಮೆರಿಕದಲ್ಲಿರುವಂತ ಶ್ರೀ ಕೀರ್ತಿ ಮತ್ತು ಶ್ರೀ ಸ್ನೇಹ ಕೀರ್ತಿ ಮೇಲ್ಕೋಟೆಯವರು ಅವರು ತಮ್ಮ ಉದಾರ ಮನಸ್ಸಿನಿಂದ ನಮ್ಮ ಶಾಲೆಗೆ ಒಂದು ಈ ಕಟ್ಟಡ ಕಟ್ಟೋದಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಒಂದು ದಾನವನ್ನ ಕೊಡುಗೆಯಾಗಿ ನೀಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಖಂಡಿತವಾಗ್ಲೂ ನಮಗೆ ಅವರು ದೈವ ಸಮಾನರು. ನಾವು ನಮ್ಮ ಮಕ್ಕಳು, ನಮ್ಮ ಇಲಾಖೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ಮಾಲೂರು ತಾಲೂಕಿನ ಜನತೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಅನಂತಾನಂತ ಕೃತಜ್ಞತೆಗಳನ್ನ ಹೃತ್ಪೂರ್ವಕವಾಗಿ ಸಲ್ಲಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಈಗ ಮೂಲಭೂತ ಸೌಲಭ್ಯಗಳು ತಾವು ಒದಗಿಸಿಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ರು ನಮ್ಗೆ. ಈಗ ಶಿಕ್ಷಕರು ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಉತ್ತಮ ಗುಣಮಟ್ಟದ ಒಂದು ಕಲಿಕೆ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು. ಆ ಗುಣಮಟ್ಟದ ಕಲಿಕೆ ಆದಾಗ್ಲೇನೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಸಮಾಜದಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ ಜೀವನ ಶೈಲಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಪ್ರಗತಿ ಪಥದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಾಗೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯವಾಗುವಂಥದ್ದು. ತಾವು ಸಹ ಈ ನಮ್ಮ ಶಾಲೆಗಳಿಗೆ ತಮ್ಮ ಸಹಾಯ ವಸ್ತುವನ್ನು ಒದಗಿಸಿದಲ್ಲಿ ಖಂಡಿತ ನಾವು ನಮ್ಮ ಮಕ್ಕಳನ್ನ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರ ಮತ್ತು ವಿಶ್ವ ಮಟ್ಟಕ್ಕೆ ಏರಿಸಬಹುದು.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope we were able to give you a glimpse of some of the work that we did last year after the Vidyaadana event in 2019. It's my pleasure now to introduce you all to another one of my colleagues, Paddu Melanhalli. Paddu is a part of the OSAAT USA executive team. He has been instrumental in pulling this Vidyaadana event together since 2018. This is actually the third Vidyaadana event that we are hosting today. Paddu has burnt a lot of midnight oil, that much I can tell you. And I'm very proud to say that he actually excels at bringing together a lot of moving parts, always with a gracious smile and a can-do attitude. Over to you, Paddu.
Hello, everyone. Namaste. Good evening. Good morning. In the next few minutes, I'd like to give you an overview of the OSAAT, what it is doing, its accomplishments, and also how you can be part of the OSAAT family and help the cause. Srinivas, can you play the slide number 2? Next slide, please. Nobel laureate Rabindranath Tagore said, "I slept and dreamt that life was joy. I awoke and saw that life was service. I acted and behold, service was joy." Let me begin by saying how proud I am to be part of Vidyaadana, OSAAT's annual Donate to Educate campaign that benefits kids in rural schools in India. Those of us that have been fortunate to have an education can certainly appreciate the value as one of the key contributors to the life we have built for ourselves. We also know that kids growing up in rural areas of India do not have the same opportunity that the kids in the cities and suburbs have. Knowing that education opens the door to better oneself, help build better society, a better nation, a better world. Is there any reason why any child in India should be denied that opportunity? Let's look at who is denying, how and why. Think of an old, crumbling, circa 1940s government school building that is barely standing. Think of a parent's worry and nightmare if that building is the only building available, affordable school in that village they can send their kids to. Think of a child that attends that school where even the most basic amenities such as clean drinking water and toilets do not exist. What these scenarios basically boil down to is parents that are worried about their safety of their kids, especially girls. They would rather have their kids work or help at home as a spare set of hands to make ends meet. Thus begin an endless cycle of illiteracy, poverty, and the child labor. Next slide, please. Let's look at the numbers. Just in one state of India, the school infrastructure will tell us a sad story. 40,000 schools don't have a proper building. 2,000 schools with no or limited toilet facilities. No power supplies and no drinking water in many places or many school buildings. Next slide, please. OSAAT is focused on these hard problems. We rebuild infrastructure of dilapidated rural underprivileged public schools. We are a legal non-profit organization, both in USA and in India. It's a 100% volunteer-led organization working for rural education empowerment. We provide an end-to-end commitment. We also have a method which is very robust, rigid, and a process governance model for selecting a well-deserved school, and we help them from start to finish. Next slide, please. Very few nonprofit organizations get involved in this infrastructure construction related hard problems. Due to the cost and the labor intensive nature of the construction, many NGOs are hesitant to take up those kind of a work. The problem with that method is if there is no good, safe building, the lot of ecosystem will not even come. The students will not come, the desk and other NGOs have the money to provide, but there is no safe and sound school for them to donate. Even to put a computer, they need a secure, safe building. So that is how this problem multiplies. OSAAT is tackling this problem of very hard problem of constructing safe and sound school environment, the infrastructure which is required for a safe and secure and good education for rural underprivileged kids. As I said, there is other problems too. We need to deal with the builders. We need to handle the local village dynamics and also the government administration. OSAAT never turned back. We took this hard problem and we are making progress step by step, one school at a time. Next slide, please. OSAAT actually helps building the classrooms, toilets, kitchen, and drinking water facilities. Since inception in 2003, OSAAT has been improving the methods of building a solid criteria of selection of the school. This is a decade worth of experience that we have brought into the system. We usually pick public schools, which has a good student strength. We also took various factors involved in selection of the school, whether it has a good student strength, whether the teachers are active, is it a progressive environment, is the village is helping, the community is built around it, so that there is a sustenance comes into the picture. It's not just building the school infrastructure, but we also make sure that the entire village come to a life. The moment we build the schools, the ecosystem comes into picture. Some NGO will come and then donate the desk. Some NGO will come and then do the computers, some library books. Akshay Patra kind of organizations comes for the midday meal. All these things is what we work together to make sure that we provide a live, full-fledged commitment for the school to be more progressive, so that the kids will have a better environment for their studies. Next slide, please. OSAAT is active since 2003. When we start building the schools one at a time, over the years, we have understood what it takes to accelerate, what it takes to scale up. It has transformed 54 schools from crumbling, dilapidated, dangerous structures to safe, strong, home away from home environment for underprivileged children. These safe spaces include classrooms and basic amenities such as clean drinking water and the toilets. More than $1 million has been raised from 2006 till now, with an astonishingly low administrative cost because there is no paid member in OSAT. Everybody are volunteers. As a 100% volunteer organization with fine-tuned process all the way from start to finish, OSAT has ensured that every dollar that you as a donor donate to OSAT is used optimally for the benefit of the schools in rural India. Next slide, please. Let me explain for a minute how you can be of some help, how you can get involved. You can adopt an entire school or a partial school. Each school, roughly around $50,000 to $70,000 gives them 4 classrooms, a girl and boys toilet blocks, and some amount of kitchen facilities for them to have the midday meal served. To give another perspective, about $250 will get a 10 square feet classroom for the rural India. You can also team up with your friends and colleagues and alumni associations, come together and fund the school. You can also take advantage of your corporate matching. There is a 1:1 or a 1:2 sometimes, or 1:3 sometimes. Take those advantages and then donate and multiply it. And also many corporates provide a volunteer hours that you should be able to donate to the OSAT. All these things are very important and a noble way of helping the cause. Next slide, please. Just to share some of these accomplishments, as I said, we are on to scaling and accelerating. We are aiming for higher numbers as we move along. We also partnership with various NGOs and ecosystem. One of the toughest approvals from the Government of India is the FCRA, which is a Foreign Contribution Regulation Act, which is a law of Government of India which regulates the receipt of foreign contributions or aid from outside India to Indian territory. This is a tough one to get, but OSAT is worked very hard to get that approval. And I'm very happy to say that all our projects are spanning across India. Next slide, please. Just to share and thank to all our partners, ecosystem, who are helping us with our vision and mission. A thank you very much for all of you who are helping our OSAT organization. With this, I'd like to thank everyone again and invite our chairman, board of director, Sri B.V. Jagdish, to talk about OSAT's digital infrastructure initiative, which is super important because of COVID-19 situation. Once again, thank you very much. Jagdish, over to you.
Thank you, Paddu, for the wonderful presentation and for your great leadership. Paddu, Ravi, and all the volunteers, both here and in India, absolutely fantastic set of volunteers who have given their time, money, everything, resources to build OSAT to where it is today. I'm really, really honored and very happy to be associated with OSAT and the difference OSAT makes in thousands and thousands of children all over the world, all over India. And, you know, interestingly, as you heard, the project that we are on, which is to build schools, which is a very hard problem. So the team has been laser sharp focused in building these schools across the nation. But when the COVID hit, the team could have just kept quiet and continued to do what we were doing, despite the fact that pretty much all the children that were going to schools, especially the government schools that we have been associated with, who have completely lost touch with the education aspect of it. In fact, those of you who have followed, the government has recently announced to do the classes over TV, over the regular TV. I mean, all of us can very well imagine, right? Young minds, what kind of attention, what kind of concentration they will have when they're watching these classes directly coming from TV. There's no interaction. There's no way teachers can actually talk to the students. So OSAAT, the volunteers actually decided, how do we address this problem? How do we solve this problem? And in fact, one of the biggest things that has been facing this world overall, not just India, is this entire digital divide between the haves and the have-nots. So the students who go to private schools and well-established schools versus students who go to rural schools, underprivileged schools, government schools, the digital divide over the last decade or more has actually gotten much bigger. So this gave us a phenomenal opportunity to go back to the drawing board to think, to see what is it that we can do. I mean, at the end of the day, what we are providing is nothing but physical infrastructure. Why don't we look at providing a digital infrastructure to the students who are completely missing school, missing classes, missing education. And many of the teachers, especially the schools that we have built, are so passionate, they want to do something to the students as well. So this gave us an opportunity, and the volunteers in India stepped forward and started to figure out what kind of solution can we bring to offer good quality education over the digital infrastructure. Can we go to the next slide? So what we did was we started to collect data, and during the course of a month or 2 months, we figured out there is a very good ecosystem that actually exists in terms of creation of the content, in terms of connectivity, and the Android devices that can be given to students, and also the notepad, notebooks that the teachers can use to stream the content. So we immediately jumped on this, and we had actually meetings with many of these corporations. And in fact, the content is actually provided and assured by the government as well. This is Nandan Nilekani's Diksha. And Nandan has started a non-profit organization called XStep. And XStep creates this Diksha, which is a content that is actually certified by the government for regular course during the classes, as well as after school as well. So given the fact that no student is going to classes today, this comes in extremely handy. And many of us are very familiar with Khan Academy as well, which has the content, and which, by the way, most of this content has already been translated into local languages across the world. So the team came up with an architecture of taking the content that is certified by the government and using certain technological tools to communicate to the students. So in this particular example, you will see on the left side, the content is from Khan Academy and Diksha. And this content is being streamed over YouTube. And then you use WhatsApp as a communication medium to talk to the students. So the students have got an Android tablet, and this Android tablet is hardened by our volunteers, which basically means they only have applications that are useful for their studies. So that means I cannot have an Android and I cannot just do whatever I want with it. So I only get like 3 or 4 relevant applications. So they took advantage of some of these technological tools, YouTube, WhatsApp, Google Forms, and streaming content and all of that. And today we have a solution where the teacher actually gives the class and gives the quizzes, gives the homework, and gives that link using this WhatsApp to the students who have the Android tablet. And then they go look at the content. And by the way, this doesn't have to be like live streaming, like what is happening right now. Content is recorded and it is sitting in the cloud, and that content can be downloaded and the students can actually watch the class, and then they will get their homework and the quizzes on the Google Forms, and they write their names and answer all the questions and submit it back to the teacher. This is working extremely well beyond our own imagination. So currently this is being tested out in a school which is in a semi-urban area. Our next step is to actually take this to rural schools and then start testing it out, because the communication could be a big challenge. So by the way, we use communication from Reliance Jio, which is coming in very handy. And Jio is also pretty much present in most part of the country as well. So let's go to the next slide. So if you see this picture, unfortunately, the picture is not very clear here, but this gives the details of the classes being taught and several of these students who have the Android, and then the notebook, which is used by the teacher. So this methodology of bringing a digital infrastructure for rural underprivileged schools as an experiment, it is being well received. And in fact, many people are actually waiting to prove this particular concept. And government of Karnataka has already come forward by saying that if we can prove this model to some 100, 150 students across 3 or 4 different schools, then they are willing to roll out this digital infrastructure, which would be notebooks to the teachers and Android tablet to all the students. And as you know, government actually provides today, computers, bicycles, backpacks, and all kinds of things that they provide to these government students. So this could be yet another of the facility that can be provided. And we are very excited about it. And kudos to OSAAT volunteers for integrating all these different components to bring out this solution. And what I am actually very proud of the fact that, we all have been talking on this digital divide that exists in any country, and this could be that solution that will actually help to build that bridge, build that gap between the haves and the have-nots. So we are very excited about it, and we're going to start rolling this out in many, many schools over the next couple of months or so, and we're going to take this idea and then show this to government of Karnataka. And once Karnataka government brings this out, we're going to take this to rest of the states as well. So I think this could be the solution that would really help hundreds of millions of students, right, sitting in these government schools and don't have to worry about that them not getting educated or not getting exposed to the digital infrastructure aspect of it. So with this, we have some amazing speakers today, and I'm really honored to have Dr. Desh Deshpande and Vinod Hampapur with us today to share their thoughts. And I would like to welcome Gururaj Deshpande and Vinod to the podium. And my colleague, my friend, and founder of OSAAT, Mr. Vadiraj Bhatt, who's sitting in India right now, who's the heart and soul of OSAAT. He's done an incredible job in building the volunteers and in building the momentum. And even this digital infrastructure product, right? He has been so passionate about it to somehow make this thing happen. And I have to give a lot of credit to both him and Sudhir Hulemane, who both have architected this solution. And let's hope that this is going to be a dream come true for all of us. So let me give a brief introduction to Desh. Desh does not require any introduction. I worked with him very closely at Akshay Patra. And interestingly enough, both Desh and I went to Sheshadripuram High School, although he was a few years senior to me. I did not know him at that time. And I only happened to meet him when I was doing my first company, Exodus Communication. And he was building his company called Cascade Communication. So we were users of his incredible technology that he has built. Desh is the founder of Deshpande Foundation, which is doing incredible work across USA, Canada, and India in terms of uplifting thousands and thousands of people. So he's been an entrepreneur, an investor, and chairman of many, many companies such as Cascade Communication, Sycamore Network, and most recently, a company that went public in India called Tejas Networks, and so on and so forth. And Dr. Deshpande and his wife Jayashree, they both live in Boston and serve as a life member of the MIT Corporation. And his support has made possible MIT's Deshpande Center for Technological Innovation. Along with his wife, he has founded several centers of innovation at leading universities in US, Canada, and India. And Deshpande holds a BTech from IIT Madras and an ME from University of New Brunswick, Canada, and a PhD from Queen's University in Canada as well. We have Binod Hampapur Rangadore. Binod Hampapur is a executive vice president and the global head of talent and technology operations. He's also a trustee at the Infosys Foundation as well. So Binod has over 30 years of industry experience and has held several leadership positions at Infosys. As a responsible corporate citizen, many of you may actually know this well-known hospital in Bangalore called Rangadore Hospital. And Binod has funded the establishment of a 150-bed hospital for the Sri Sringeri Mutt. And in an honorary role, he is the chairman of the Board of Governors, Rangadore Memorial Hospital, which is named after his father. So he's done an amazing job. You know, my mother happened to be there 2 years ago in that same hospital as well. So thank you so much, Binod, for creating such a excellent medical facility in Bangalore. Binod is a trustee of Infosys Foundation that is doing tremendous humanitarian work across India. So I'm going to ask a few questions to both Desh and Binod. And let's start with essentially, take a few minutes in explaining what your foundation does. Desh, why don't you start with yourself?
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you, Jagadish. I left India, like you said, a long time ago, 1973. And like most of the people on this call, the career was primarily on the high tech and upper end of the technology. And so our initial foundation work was mostly innovation. So it was MIT, it was high tech technology and so on. I think there are 7 billion people in the world, and you can break them up into 2 billion people who have disposable income, 5 billion who don't have disposable income. And they both have problems. But when you solve the problems of the people with disposable income, you have to bring something new to the world that they haven't seen before, and you direct it to some burning problem that they have. And that's the business that all of us come from. And so that was the initial start for the foundation. And we still do that work. We funded NSF to launch a nationwide program in the US called I-Core, which is now a nationwide program. We're trying to bring the same program to India because India is now beginning to spend a lot of money on research. But it's only the last 15 years that we started working with the people more at the bottom of the pyramid. And the learning there has been very much like what you're finding at OSAAT and what OSAAT is doing. If you want to solve their problems, you cannot lead with innovation. You cannot lead with solutions. You have to co-create the solution with them, building trust with them so that they accept you into their house, into their family, into their community becomes the most critical part. And so I think you have to lead with compassion. You have to lead with really that sympathy and the co-creation of the solution that they need. But I think we've been doing that for 15 years there. But what I'm finding is that as you slowly start building the capacity of those communities, for example, the digital divide and so on, slowly you start getting people who are more and more capable of absorbing bigger ideas
And then I think we really have an opportunity to connect the people who practice in that 2 billion people economy to the benefit of the people who work in the 5 billion at the bottom of the pyramid. So it's I think we are at a juncture now where I think we can make difference at a big scale, because we really can sort of bridge the two sides and start bringing people together.
Yeah, and the training program that you have initiated in Hubli in the Deshpande Foundation, that is a very, very remarkable thing as well, because that really gives an opportunity for so many people who are stuck either without jobs or without upward movement in their career, and they can come and get the training to get some basic skills, which helps them to really move up in the ladder, right?
Yeah, I think a lot of the people graduate, they go to school for 15 years, 17 years, and in semi-urban and particularly the rural India, after all that, there's no opportunity. But the beauty has been that we have found that you can whip them into shape in 4 months, right? I mean, most of the people say, if you don't start early, you can never remedy these situations and so on. But, the expectations of these people is also not that high, right? I mean, if you can get a job that makes 15, 20, 25,000 rupees a month, they're pretty happy. So we have a program where we can take anybody and whip them into shape in 4 months. And our placement rates are something like 95%, right? So I think the problems are difficult and hard, but also I think the solutions can be pretty simple, but you have to do them at scale, because it has 1.4 billion people, and anytime you do a few here and a few there, it's not going to make any systemic difference. But it's been very exciting.
Yeah, very nice, very nice. Binod, you want to talk a little bit about Infosys Foundation and some of the amazing work that you guys are doing? You are muted.
Yeah. Am I still muted? Are you hearing me? Yeah. So Infosys Foundation was started in 1999, and under the able leadership of Madam Sudhamurthy, a lot of activities started, and we used to then itself plow almost 2% of our after-tax profits into the activities of the Infosys Foundation. And we used to focus only on primary health, primary education, and natural calamities, rehabilitation during natural calamities. That used to be our focus area. And as we have grown, we have come to a situation where almost about 35 to 36% of our $50 million budget that we get every year now goes into destitute care and rehabilitation, because there are a lot of natural calamities and there's a complete amount of destruction that keeps happening, and we need to rush and to their rescue. So many of our activities now, almost 36%, goes into destitute care and rehabilitation. We also have programs almost about for rural development, improving quality of education, healthcare and medical facilities, etc. And also in terms of, we are focusing some action towards sustainability, art and culture and things like that. So we very focused on these activities from the Infosys Foundation. We also have an Infosys Science Foundation. There is some contribution that we make from the Infosys Foundation to the Infosys Science Foundation. And also we work on the carbon offset and sustainability actions that we take. So these are some of the actions that we take, and continue to do large projects. In fact, some of them are handled by me as a to help Madam Sudhamurthy. Especially we are currently running some of the projects are, we are building a Vishram Sadan in Ames Jajjar AIMS has a second campus in Jajjar in Haryana, where they have the National Cancer Institute. And we are building a 9-storied building just to provide accommodation for the patients and their attenders, because when they come there for chemotherapies and things like that, they need accommodation in that place. So we have come forward to do that. A similar thing is being done in Navi Mumbai for Tata Memorial Hospital. And we recently built a 6-storied building for Kidwai to have their OPDs in that place. So some of these large projects are have been taken up. And yeah, so recently we had to focus as part of rehabilitation also on the COVID relief that we had to do.
Yeah, amazing. I mean, I have to say, I think Infosys Foundation really has set like a gold standard and it really inspired many other, both individuals as well as corporations, to step up and provide, that humanitarian kind of services to the people across the world. That's really amazing that you've been doing this for the last 21 years. And let me ask you, since you are in India, what are some of the major challenges given the COVID situation that India is facing today?
Oh, COVID hit us real hard. We had to first from the company side, we had to make sure that everybody gets to work remotely. So we got into work from home situation, and 98% of our staff are all working from home. And while we did this, we had a lot of relief efforts that we had to get into because there were not many hospitals, not many wards, not many equipment in terms of ventilators or oximeters, or even PPE kits and sanitizers and hygiene kits that were, none of them were available. So we had to put all of them together at a very, very quick pace. In fact, we had to sacrifice one project that we were about to start in Chennai. We were supposed to build a onco and neuro block in Chennai. And unfortunately, we had to cannibalize that budget and moved it to the COVID relief efforts that we did across Karnataka, Orissa, Telangana, Gujarat, Haryana, Maharashtra, everywhere, Tamil Nadu. And we spent almost about 120 crores into these activities, where we donated medical equipment, mostly ventilators and things like that. And we also started doing some COVID testing and treatment for the poor, providing cooked meals and food kits, for underprivileged people. So the migrant labor suddenly went without food because they lost all their jobs and they had nothing to eat. And so we had to chip in and provide food, cooked food for them. Providing them many food kits was really meaningless at some point of time till they recovered. But then we had to do that. And even, food and medicines for street animals and strays, we were not able to see that. And some of the actions we had to do. And many of the artists went out of a job, and then we had to support them in some sense. So along with that, I don't know, along with the COVID pandemic that hit us, we had a lot of floods in Karnataka, a lot of relief work had to be done. So around the same time, we were hit by a cyclone in West Bengal and Orissa. So we had to get into action there also. So, when trouble comes, I think trouble comes in multiple areas. But it's unfortunate for those things to happen. But Infosys, not only Infosys Foundation, but the employees of Infosys also come together very quickly in wherever we are, in any of our development center locations. Our employees come together and work on the ground, support the activities of Infosys Foundation. And that is a very big boon. And I'm sure you have experienced that through your volunteers in OSAT. And we do have a huge army of people who just jump in to help. And that's a very big thing. And helping people at the right time is the most important thing to do at that in a time of crisis. And right now, probably we are over the hump, but we never know.
Yeah. No, thank you. Thank you for all the work that you're doing. So Desh, you have seen quite a few nonprofit organizations. And Vinod, obviously, you've been doing a lot of work in India as well. As you heard the presentation, OSAT has embarked on this complex problem of building the schools. And interestingly enough, we haven't seen very many nonprofits which have taken on this challenge. And as Padhu showed that the 7 layers, right? We are at the bottom layer, and then most of the nonprofit organizations are all pretty much focused on the soft values that is offered to education and other things. Do you see any particular reason as to why many of these nonprofits are not focused on building the infrastructure? Is there something that we don't see it that you see it, or are we on the right track?
No. I think you're on the right track, and because it's hard to do. There's another organization called Yuva Unstoppable that does something similar. But what's interesting about your model is the fact that everybody is a volunteer, and so the more you can build on that, I think better it is, because then you really have ownership spread across a lot of people, and it's not just a few people coming together to do something. There is another organization called Robin Hood, which actually provides food to people in cities. And that's also run totally 100% by volunteers. And it's a very large program now. So I think Robin Hood may be a good model for OSAT, in terms of really spreading it across the country. And then you build a very large network. And I think once you build your credibility and the fact that you can actually do it, and also it looks like your organization is very hands-on. Building that trust, I think, is very important. Anytime you go to these communities, India, unfortunately, or even US, for example, has 3 million NGOs, right? I mean, there's a lot of NGOs, and everybody claims that they're doing the best work. And so the people whom we're all trying to help, they become jaded and they don't believe you anymore. And so really making sure that you build that trust with the people that you work with, and then leveraging that trust to do other things, I think is very important.
And clearly it has taken us almost 15 years to build that trust. Vinod, any thoughts from your side? I mean, you actually do a lot of construction as part of your own foundation and the work that you do for hospitals and all. Any thoughts about this?
Yeah, I mean, when I saw the OSAT model, I think you're perfectly on the right track. I don't think you should have any doubts about what you're doing. It's a great initiative, and the way you guys are doing it is outstanding. So there is no doubts about that. There are a lot of organizations who are in this space. I mean, a lot of people go to rural schools and they try to do something, but I don't think they're doing it in as structured a manner that you are doing. They probably take up some smaller activities. I mean, I'll take an example of our own. When Infosys Foundation, when the Prime Minister announced Swachh Bharat, and we wanted to do something, we focused on building toilets in Orissa. So we just went, identified all the schools, and we built toilet blocks for the children. There are places where the toilet block that we built was locked and only kept for the teachers. So we said no. I mean, our volunteers used to visit and say, no, this is built for the children. So But unfortunately, our toilet block, and what you are addressing, I just want to highlight what you are addressing. The toilet block was better than the school building. So in many places. So then, yeah, so a lot of people take up these projects, and I am, very excited that OSAT is doing this grounds up. And actually, you're doing the basic infrastructure which is not there, or it is dilapidated, and that is a phenomenal activity. And I'm very happy to see that. There are a lot of people with a lot of money all over the world, but many places their biggest problem is they don't know whom to give it to. If they want to donate, they don't know whom to give it to, because they feel that somebody is going to eat it away. Unfortunately, there are examples. There are large organizations, voluntary organizations, which spend 50% of the donated amount on themselves, and this is where it gets it's lost its steam. But I'm sure OSAT has done it in a very different manner. Every dollar, every rupee that is donated goes directly to the beneficiary, and I think that is your USP. And then you should not budge from this, because this is one thing that is catching. Your brand is growing, so it's a phenomenal thing to do. And there are other people, but that's okay. As Mr. Deshpande mentioned, there are other organizations that are doing certain things, but that should not stop you from what you're doing. And it's an outstanding thing that you're doing. Today you're doing 50 schools, and probably in 2-3 years time you'll do 500, and then 5,000. It will multiply that way. That's how it's going to go.
Thank you, sir. It means a lot to us to hear from both of you. It's a great affirmation and pat on back to continue to do this. Now coming back to the topic that Jagana has very passionately explained on the digital infrastructure, we are embarking on it. You have plethora of experience in all of these areas. You have done quite a lot of work on this. We want to hear from your perspective. You have taken up this job on bridging this digital gap. Any thoughts on what challenges are, and then what we should be doing and what we should never be doing? Probably we'll start with Desh sir first.
Yeah, I think during COVID, the bad thing is, because the kids are not going to school, they're all going to fall behind. But next year they just graduate, they go to the next grade, and then the curriculum moves on, but their levels are not moving on. But the good thing that's happening are two things. One is acceleration of technology, because things that would have taken maybe 5 years are happening rather quickly because people are embracing technology. The other thing that's happening in education seems to be the parental involvement. Parents never spend this much time with them. And so I'm sure OSAT does that, but if not, you should build that component of your program, because the kid spends as much time at home as they do in school. And in rural India, the parents are not that involved in the school. But now they are getting involved, because they tend to share the smartphone, they tend to share the technology, because not everybody can afford one. So I think this is an opportunity. I mean, we know that the education is going to be through the digital media over the next whatever. And it's just going to happen a little bit faster now. And so it's very important that you stay that course. And we're going to need a lot of experiments. We need Diksha, we need tablets, we need different ways of educating the teachers, and different ways of keeping the students engaged. And so I think it's absolutely the right effort. Digital divide efforts have started, I don't know, I've been hearing about them for like 20 years. And I remember funding things about 20 years ago with some of the programs where they would just go buy computers, put them in a school, and like Binod was saying, they would just lock them up and they would keep them nice and clean and nobody would use them. Whereas what you're doing is actually making sure that the kids use the technology every day. So I think you're on the right track.
Thank you, sir. Sir, Binod sir, any thoughts?
Yeah, actually, see, I went to a few schools in the rural area, and as Mr. Deshpande mentioned, there was a computer lab. It was locked, and nobody was using it. And I mentioned why. I mean, I asked them, why are you doing this? And then they said, look, we have computers. They're a little old, but it is working. But we don't have power. Now, how do we run this? We don't have any internet connectivity, nothing. I mean, it's a very remote school. I mean, I am probably taking a very bad example, so don't get me wrong. At that time, one thing that we had worked on long time ago, almost about 10-15 years ago, there was an experiment done in Chindwada in Madhya Pradesh. So the local MP had put this together, and he invited a lot of corporates to come and participate by way of sponsoring children, in the sense of giving some money to the children to come and study there, because they were really poor students. And after that, if they do very well, there was a possibility to hire the students and provide them a job. So a lot of such people joined the BPM industry and got jobs, and they were very proud of it. Now, how this system work is, this person roped in NIIT. NIIT used to conduct classes on computer education, etc., in Gurgaon, and the live streaming of the class used to happen in Chindwada. Okay, and the students in Chindwada also used to get a chance to ask questions if they had, using a mic system from Chindwada. Now, it worked well because Gurgaon people teach in English as well as in Hindi, and in Chindwada also Hindi worked for them, and it worked very well. So this is something in between the complete going tablet direction, providing them computers, etc. That probably will work in urban areas or semi-urban areas, but in true very remote rural schools, this may not really work. And then to examine the possibility of doing this, the Chindwada model. I know it's a fantastic model. I have I mean, I was involved in that project, and hence I know how it works, and I'm willing to share that knowledge with any one of you when we should do this. And it is a via media solution which will surely work, and especially in rural areas, and especially where you need language. You may need the local language to communicate. So of course, I don't want to put any stop to the digital action that is happening. That is also definitely required. But these students actually come to school, mostly because they will get a meal. The midday meal scheme is such a big thing for them. They are so happy to come to school because they need food. So it's such a there are some places that are so bad, and then parents send their children to school because they'll get a meal there, and otherwise they will end up on the streets doing some work. So that way, this model, that the Chindwada model, I think is a fabulous example to emulate.
Absolutely. Thank you for that guidance, sir. We will definitely consider it.
Yeah. So given given that we are running a little late, I would like to wrap this up. And how can we join hands, with your respective foundation to learn from each other and create a bigger impact to the society? So how can we partner with both your foundations? Guide us.
Well, Jagdish, you've been to Hubli, so we have a 300,000 square foot campus, a 100,000 square foot incubator. There's a lot of experimentation that's going on. We use flipped classrooms and ways to test, because testing is the most important part in terms of education and so on. So I think we can join hands there. But more than anything else, almost everybody on the call, whether they're YouTube or Facebook or all of us, we are where we are because of the education we got. None of us would be here if it wasn't for education. So I think anything anybody can do to help another kid get the education will fundamentally change the future of that person and that whole family. So I would appeal to everybody on the call today, on the live stream, to do the best they can. I mean, whatever little they can, and it's hard to find organizations that can actually take whatever resources that you can spare and make it as impactful as OSAT does. So I want to wish you all the very best.
Thank you, Desh. Thank you so much. Vinod?
Yeah, actually, that's a very noble thought, what Deshpande mentioned. See, Vidyaadana is a very pure and one of the highest forms of donation. And this is directly touching the lives of the future generation and preparing them for a better. So, and what you guys are doing, the connect is with humanity and with the actual beneficiaries. So in that activity, no one needs affiliation or link. I mean, it works on its own. And OSAT is a growing brand. With each project, your brand is growing, and I'm sure you will create your own ecosystem, and it'll be a big name in India. And a lot of people will definitely come forward to work with you, because if it is a successful model where money is collected from donors, money is spent fully on the beneficiaries, I think a lot of people will definitely come forward. And I'm sure events like this are definitely going to help. People have to see what it is. I mean, people have to visit places where this has been done. And, instead of spending money on birthdays or any events that keep happening, I think some of that money should be donated here. And you can even name a classroom after somebody, your father, mother, brother, sister, anybody. And that way there is a connect between you and the school, and it's a great thing to have. I mean, it is a wonderful thing to do. It builds a lot of connect. And one thing is, we need to do this very fast. So how do we do this? Especially we need to standardize a lot of these things: standard design, standard material, standard builder or identified contractors and material suppliers, etc. Only with that standardization you will be able to do this much faster. Otherwise, every place will start from scratch, and then it will be very difficult to do it. So you need to have standard models to do this, and work. I mean, whatever you're doing it. I think it should be that way. Never club your initiative with any government funding, because the moment you club this with government funding, you are stuck. And whatever you're doing, some politician or somebody else will hijack your project, and hence that may not. It's okay for somebody to do it. That's not my intention. But the intention is that it may not see the result that you had originally intended to see, and hence it is very important for OSAT start it and finish it, and not club any government funding into this. Otherwise, there will be a lot of interference, and that is not desirable in a voluntary activity or in a funding. Such kind of a CSR activity, not desirable to club it with any government funding. I mean, that's my view.
Wow.
Thank you.
That's a very, very valuable input. Very valuable, because we always kept thinking we should have government to actually contribute, because ultimately it is their responsibility. And we thought that, we will put maybe $5 or $10 and then get the remaining $95 from the government. But I guess what you're saying is, if you go that path, then somebody else will have a different agenda to drive it. Yeah, that's a very, 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 very useful tip. So thank you so much, both of you. I really, really appreciate taking the time, and hopefully you will sit back and enjoy the amazing flute from Praveen Godkindi that's going to happen in the next 10-15 minutes or so.
Thank you. Thank you, both of you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Mangala,
thank you.
Mangala, can you come back, please? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jagadish. It was certainly great to hear from Vinodji and also Desh. We certainly appreciate all the pointers you gave us. It's a learning experience, and our learning continues forever. And we are grateful for your presence today and all the pointers you shared with us. Thank you so much. I'd like to invite the audience at this time to watch another short video we have prepared. Basically, we requested our donors that have adopted schools to tell us how they felt about adopting the school and their motivations. So at this time, we would like to share that little video with us. So please, Srinivas, can we have the video, please?
I was impressed by three major factors. Number one is the dedicated team of the OSAAT. I find these people personally very successful, but very sincere about the cause of the education for the poor children. They spend their personal money. They're not here for any name, fame, or anything personal. They are doing it very dedicated, fully voluntarily. Number two, I was also impressed by the OSAAT model for selecting the schools. They have three criteria. One, I think there should be a large number of students in that, deserving students in that school. Dedicated team of teachers and a supporting village community. I felt these are very important criteria to make the school project successful and also to sustain over a period of time.
We first came to know about OSAAT about 10 to 12 years back when our children were much younger, and they used to participate in the annual music and dance competition, Natya Raga, organized by OSAAT.
So over the past few years, I've come to know much more about the volunteers who are at the heart of the organization. OSAAT, as you know, is a fully volunteer-driven organization. 100% of donations go towards the cause. And these volunteers are doing all the hard work on the ground, really to scope the projects, to qualify the projects, work with local governments, and finally get the schools constructed. Last year, we decided to make a significant commitment to OSAAT by funding a school in Tamil Nadu. And over the past year, we worked with the OSAAT team on the ground to scope out a couple of potential projects, and we settled on a project, a school in Kumarapalayam, which is in a textile district of Tamil Nadu.
The big problems in India is providing a safe school and an environment where children can go to school and get their primary education. This is a big problem. A lot of people connect with it, but identifying the right organization which can actually do the right groundwork is very difficult.
This is where OSAAT comes in and has proven to be very effective.
When I look at any organization, a non-profit organization, see, three things become very important. The first thing is, of course, the vision for what the organization is dedicated to. The second is the leadership. And the third being the volunteers. And the volunteers is a very, very important aspect. In finding the right organization where all three of the above is excellent is very difficult. And what I found, while associating with OSAT is that it's phenomenal, like, the vision, the leadership, and the volunteer team.
It is certainly gratifying to hear the donors supporting us, telling us that we are on the right track and encouraging us to do the right thing and keep doing what we're doing. We are very thankful to all of them. Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to begin a pledge drive. At this time, I would like to invite Paddu to walk you through what is involved. So Paddu, over to you.
Thank you, Mangala. So this is an important aspect. All the work that the OSAT is doing and the projects which is waiting for the help is what this pledge drive is all about. Srinivas, can you play the first slide? Let me take a little bit of a time to explain what are the projects which are waiting. So at the overall India level, we have 13 school projects which are ready to be adopted. We have done the required due diligence, and OSAT is looking forward for all the help, your heart, your wallet, all the things to help out the school projects. We have 2 school projects in UP and Jharkhand. There is a one in Maharashtra. There are 2 in Andhra Pradesh. There are 2 in Tamil Nadu, and there are 6 of them in Karnataka. All these are the projects which involves building the classrooms, building the toilets, and the kitchen where needed. And each of these projects, usually, as I said earlier, it ranges between $50,000 to $70,000. And there are many ways that you can help. Either you can adopt the entire school or a portion of the school, maybe a 1 classroom, or maybe a 1 toilet block, or maybe a donation which will help to build certain square feet areas. This is what we are looking for. And these are all the projects which is ready to be adopted. Srinivas, second slide. This is how the pledging we have requesting all our donors to see it. There is a link which is provided, probably in your the comment section or the feedback section. Also, you will see this link. You go to osat.org/Vidyaadana. This will take you to 2 different methods. One method is to provide the general donation, which is applicable to any of the schools. And this will be either through the PayPal or through the standard credit cards, or even you can pledge saying that I will have my contribution along with my company contribution, and then together is what I am pledging, and then we will follow it up with you later. And all these things are online, and you should be able to go to osat.org/Vidyaadana, and then you should be able to take this general donation pledges or the contribution. Second method is we have also introduced and provided greater amount of details of each project that I have shown, about 13 of them. Each of them has a landing page which will show you the pictures of the current situation of the school, and also what is current infrastructure which is available, and then what is proposal that OSAT is trying to help them out. And there is an itemization of the pledge that you should be able to do it. Either you adopt an entire school or a half school or a 1 classroom or a 1 toilet block or a partial classroom or a partial toilet block, or you can adopt about 40 square feet classroom or a 20 square feet classroom or a 10 square feet classroom. And then you should be able to pledge it to a choice of your school. If you are from a UP, if you want to affiliate affinity towards a UP school, you should be able to pick and choose. or in Andhra Pradesh, or a Tamil Nadu, or a Karnataka, you have a wide variety of opportunity for you to select which school you want to donate. And we will make sure that your donation is actually going into that particular class. So with this, I would like to invite OSAAT Board of Directors, B.V. Jagdish, Rajiv Ramaswamy, Vijay Pullur, and our donor continuously, he is actually the couple helping us year over year, the classes or the school projects, Kirti and Sneha Melkote, and our president, Ravi Shekhar, to be on the gallery view. And we will go round the clock, clockwise, and then we will see each one of them will talk to you and then put an appeal. And by the time you listen to these stories, I encourage each and every one of you to go to osaat.org/Vidyaadana page, and then take a look at what is the opportunity, what is the possibility, and then how you can get involved with the OSAAT's mission and vision and help our rural kids in India. Over to you, BVJ.
Yeah, thank you, Padil. Thank you. Personally, I myself went to government schools until the grade of 7 in my village, Bagalur village. And, today I could see so many of these schools that I have visited, thanks to OSAAT, how OSAAT has really transformed these schools that were really going under into something that is phenomenal schools. And it just reminds me of a beautiful proverb where if we think of the trees that we all see, we have to be grateful and we have to be thankful to our fathers, grandfathers, great-grandfathers, or whoever it is who planted many of these trees. And because of that, we get the shade today. And if they thought that, hey, this tree is going to take 50 years or 75 years to grow, I'm not going to benefit out of this. What's the point in planting this tree? Then we would not be enjoying that. So I think it's the same way that it's very important for us to support these children who will benefit from these schools 50 years, 70 years, 100 years from now. And in fact, in case of OSAT, the ROI is actually very, very, very straightforward, because the school generally have on an average about 300 students, and the life of each school is anywhere from 75 to 100 years, because the quality of the schools that we are building is really phenomenal. And which basically means over the life of the school, you are touching and you are helping almost like 30,000 students per school, which is absolutely incredible. I don't think there is any other kind of donation that we can provide which will have an ROI that is so impactful. So I encourage everyone, as Binod and Desh said, whatever we can do to support OSAT to build these schools, I think it'll be really fantastic. Thank you.
Vijay, you want to go through?
Thank you, everybody, for joining the Vidyaadana. As Mr. Bapur said, Vidyaadana is the biggest dana anybody can do. And while a lot of people connect with this, right, so it's when you go and see how people in the schools are, the children, the dedicated teachers, it is amazing. The teachers go a long way trying to make everything possible. See, we have all grown up in India, and many either we have experienced, heard, or seen real dedicated teachers completely working for making sure the children get the right education and for the welfare of the children. Today, probably it's only in movies that people see, but if you go to these schools and you see the people, you heard somebody talk in the intro video about Mr. and Mrs. Melkote's contribution and how important and how grateful they were. Similarly, you will see a lot of dedicated people, and children really come and like that there is somebody coming forward to help them. This is a very important aspect as well. Not only are we helping education, we are also motivating these good teachers in all those rural places with so limited resources, that there is somebody thinking about them, and there is somebody who is thinking that it is very important to help these children, not only just their own individual effort, but there is somebody else outside also thinking about it. It's a great motivation for such teachers, and as well as for children, right? So I have seen Mangala in one of the meetings explain when she came back as to how grateful those children were when you go and meet them, and that we have done something like building a school or a toilet that is safe for them. So please come forward, with your generous contributions. And as OSAT is a non-profit organization, both registered here and in India, so there is also a tax deduction on that. So I request everybody to contribute. And not only that, the next time, of course, this is COVID time, but whenever you are in India, please do visit a OSAT school, and you will really be heartened to see what kind of environment that is. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vijay. Appreciate it. Now I'd like to invite Kirti and Sneha to appeal to the donors.
Thank you, Paddu. Good evening and good morning, everyone. It is a pleasure and honor to be amongst such amazing, accomplished people. I just want to also say we are really, really very happy supporting OSAT as an organization, simply because of the amazing energy and commitment and dedication of the volunteer force. They are truly inspiring in every way. And today what we wanted to do was spend a second talking about the importance of educating a girl child. I don't know if you have seen a recent series that came out on Netflix called Daughters of Destiny. If you have not, I encourage you to go take a look at it. And last year I talked about education and Vidyaadana as a way of paying it forward. It's one of the best ways of paying it forward, and BVJ captured it really well in his proverb with the tree. Educating a girl child, to me, we've all heard about promotions when we went to school in India, going from first grade to second grade to third grade. And a few of us also had classmates who got double promotions, who skipped a class and went over. Educating a girl child is like getting a double promotion to a family. What you end up doing is not only educate that child, but educate her family, her successive generation, and all her nieces and nephews that come up. And I know this from personal experience with my mother, who grew up in Mysore. She was the first in her family to get a college degree. And till her last breath, all she cared about was to ensure that every member in her extended family got the best education and did well, and made that their mission in paying it forward. So I encourage all of you, obviously, to consider with your full heart a donation. And I know Sneha has a few words as well.
So educating a woman also gives the society a right direction. I just wanted to add to that. So we've heard Desh Deshpande, Binod, Vijay touch upon this thing called connection. I feel when we as donors donate in these very tough COVID times, it reinforces the belief that all the volunteers have within OSAT to run this mission. And it also reinforces the student under the OSAT umbrella that's receiving the education. And it's just our humble request, even, we seek your continued support. We are going to go to the pledge page now and send in our pledge. I also wanted to say that every $1,000 counts. So please pledge right away. Thank you.
So that's the minimum $1,000 established.
Yes.
I just want to say, we saw the video, and the joy of seeing that hard construction and enabling that before and after view is incredible. So if you can afford to adopt a school, I encourage you to do so. It is a really amazing feeling of giving, and nothing better than encouraging this really amazing group of volunteers. Yes. So thank you very much, and back to you, Paddu.
Thank you very much, Kirti and Sneha. Much, much appreciated. Thanks for sharing your views and also the experience. Appreciated. Now we will go to Rajiv.
Hey, thank you, Paddu. So I'll keep mine fairly short. There's this book, it's called The Book of Joy, and it recounts a conversation between the Dalai Lama and Archbishop Desmond Tutu over a week that they spent together in Dharmashala. And there are a few things, when I read that book, there were a few things that really, really struck me. The first is when the Dalai Lama says he wakes up every day and thinks about what good he can do to others. And that's not something that we naturally think, right? But that is, most of us spend our lives figuring out what good we can do to ourselves. And I think thinking about what good you can do to others, especially when many of us have been fortunate to have had good careers, make good money, and now it's really time to pay that forward, as Kirti said. And, there is the other thing, that he said in that book is often, there's a lot of suffering in the world. And, when you think about your own sufferings, you may be well off, you may be comfortable, but you may still have issues. But when you think of your own sufferings, think about all those other people who are suffering a lot more than you are. And when you do that, your own suffering goes away and pales away. And you think about what you can do to help those other people. And so when you think about that, there is no better cause than education. Because education is a way for people to lift themselves out and figure out a life path for themselves. It's how you can actually transform yourself regardless of how you were born, what circumstances you were born into, and build a future for yourself. And when we enable that, we are absolutely paying paying this forward. So I encourage you to, all of you, to open your wallets, donate generously, please, to a very, very deserving cause. Having been involved with OSAAT for now several years, I can tell you that your money is being put to really good use. It's, as many of us have said, 100% of the money does go into the school. There is no, it's 100% volunteer run. So I really encourage you to go make your contributions, please. And it's all for a great cause. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rajiv. Appreciated. Ravi is OSAAT president. So I want him to talk through the appealing process and also update on the dinner thing.
Hello, folks. Good evening. Hope you guys are enjoying the day with us. Especially, our goal is to make sure that we cross at least 100 projects next year, by end of next year. With all your support, definitely it's doable. If you guys are generous enough to donate for this a great cause, especially the building or giving a foundation for the kids as an education. It is really improves the country, as well as it's a foundation for the kids for their future generation. Having said that, this evening, for all the Bay Area people, we sent a food as a honor and privilege from OSAAT side. Sorry, we could not able to do it for all the people in the community. You might have received this nice box, food box, to your doorsteps. Enjoy with us while doing your pledging and donate us, help us to build this community stronger. Thank you very much. And we can play a video now.
Different cultures, no matter in which point of humankind, have emphasized the great importance of education. And I can say that from my own personal life, how much of a difference this has made. This is an old Chinese proverb. I'm sure you've heard this. If you're planning for a year, sow rice. If you're planning for a decade, plant trees. But if you're planning for a lifetime, educate people. And the Greek philosopher Plato said something similar almost, again, 2000 years ago. The direction in which education starts a man will determine his future life.
Amadeus got introduced to OSAAT through one of our leaders,
We partnered with OSAT and built one school in the Chinnakatti area in Haveri district last year. Was very happy with the partnership that we achieved. The school was built on time, and we decided to expand the relationship and are now building 2 more schools, one in Tumkuru and one in the Belgavi district. Looking forward to these 2 schools also completing and many children in villages benefiting from it and furthering the partnership beyond this.
One of the key elements that we look for in a partner, in our CSR projects is to have trust and the ability to make a difference at the ground level. OSAT is one such partner where we believe that they are really making a difference in the field of education in rural India. We believe that education is what will make a difference in the country, in its economy, by helping the next generation. Wishing OSAT all the very best and looking forward to many more partnerships with this great organization.
I think it was B.V. Jagdish who first brought OSAT to my attention.
We also found that the infrastructure plays a very major role in providing better education to rural children, and OSAT properly fit the whole requirement.
I am told that my donation will be going towards building infrastructure in a place called Rajakatti. I also spoke to a few friends of mine who are quite keen on getting involved, and one of my friends made a generous donation towards 2 schools.
OSAT's main idea is building the infrastructure one school at a time that really motivated us, and this was the one and big cause for us to contribute and donate towards OSAT.
Yeah, many a times the schools have operating budgets coming from the government, but the infrastructure capital budget to build these schools typically doesn't exist. So that was a very important consideration for us. Second one is the volunteers themselves. I think we were so impressed by the energy, enthusiasm, commitment, dedication of the volunteers that we felt any contribution we make to this organization will reach its intended effect. So we invite you to join us, to open your hearts and your wallets to contribute to your abilities.
My heart really is filled with so much gratitude, and I feel so, along with the OSAT family, we feel so blessed to have all the donors supporting us so much. Thank you, everyone. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce all of you to another one of my colleagues, Ashok Handigol. Ashok has been involved with the OSAT for many years. He's been very active with our signature event, Natya Raga, the annual Sevathon we do, and also very involved with the school selection process. Over to you, Ashok.
Ramesh, I need the video to be on. Ramesh, kindly switch on allow me to start the video. Namaskar. Good morning, good evening, everyone. My name is Ashok Handigol. I've been associated with OSAT as a volunteer for about a decade now. And there's not even a single day where I don't cherish the experience that I'm getting through my activities in OSAT. And the family of volunteers that we have become part of is a great asset to my life. So today it's my privilege and honor to talk about some of the major donors from last year, 2019, and who have made a tremendous difference in the strength of OSAT. As you know, we started as one school at a time, just one school, and we have come a long way. Now we are building many schools in 1 year. Srinivas, could you start my slide deck, please? So today, it's my honor to do donor felicitation. Next slide, please. As you know, OSAAT's donor family has been growing. Every year, it has been growing from strength to strength. And the generous contributions by all the donors have made us stronger and enabled us to take more and more schools. Talking about the donations and the sizes, starting from major donors in thousands of dollars to a small child who is asking during their birthday, don't give me presents, but give the money that I will donate to OSAAT. To that small child, we are grateful. Everything counts, every cent or every paisa counts, and it means a lot for OSAAT. So I'm very happy to honor the major donors from Vidyaadana 2019 that was held last year. Next slide, please. I must mention, as we welcome these donors to our family of donors supporting OSAAT, during these COVID times, we're really feeling bad that we are not able to invite them onto the stage and honor them. However, all these donors opened their homes for me to walk in and hand over a memento to them. And everybody, I must tell you, everybody offered me either sweets or dinner or chai or coffee and Deepavali specials. I'm very fortunate to be presenting these plaques to the donors. I'll start off with Srimati Priya and Sri Vijay Pullur. He is also on our board of directors. With his generous donation, we have been able to start a school project in Pedda Tumbalam in Andhra Pradesh, in Kurnool district. It has about 870 students, and OSAAT has built 4 large classrooms. The project completed in September 2020. Thank you, Priya and Vijay Pullur. Next slide, please. We are very grateful for the support, the continued support offered by Anu and BV Jagdish. There is no single project that we can put their name on, but they are all over the place. Their support and encouragement to all of us, the volunteer community, is enormous, and they continue to steer us in achieving higher goals, higher quality, higher reach for OSAAT. Thank you, Anu and BVJ. Next slide, please. Srimati Uma and Sri Rajiv Ramaswamy. Rajiv, you have heard earlier, he's also on our board of directors. With his generous donation, we have been able to start the project Municipal Middle School in Kumarapalayam, Tamil Nadu, in Namakkal district. It has about 150 students, starting from 1st grade to 8th grade. OSAAT is building 4 classrooms and 2 toilet blocks. The project has started in August 2020. Thank you, Uma and Rajiv Ramaswamy. Next slide, please. Srimati Wani and Sri Gopal Hegde. With their generous support, we have been able to start a project in Belgaum district. I must tell you, Belgavi area was severely hit by floods in the last year. And we have identified a number of schools where the schools were totally lost or submerged and not inhabitable. And it's our honor to to convey our thanks to donors like Vani and Gopal, who have special love towards these flood-hit North Karnataka regions. And this school has 1st grade to 8th grade and has about 250 students. And OSAT is building 2 classrooms and a toilet block. And the Bhumi Puja of this school is happening this weekend. Thank you, Vani and Gopal Hegde. Next slide, please. Uttar Pradesh Mandal of America, UPMA is fondly known. Mr. Ritesh Tandon has been a very long time supporter of OSAT and very actively takes interest in what OSAT stands for. And the current president, Srimati Jyoti Kaushal, I had the honor of presenting the plaque to them. The project that they had signed up was Kasimpur in Uttar Pradesh for some reasons that kind of goes back to working with the government and where government had promised something and they withdrew their offer. So we are looking for another project in Uttar Pradesh to take their donations. But thank you so much to UPMA and all the members of UPMA, and particularly Ritesh and Jyotiji. Dhanyavad. Next slide, please. Here is a perfect example of how not just one individual, Paddu was earlier giving examples of how you can contribute, you can adopt the whole school, or you and your colleagues, or you or your classmates, a batch, can collectively adopt a school. So here, Srimati Vanita Belur and her Cisco team came forward with their generous donations to build a school in flood-hit Belgavi district, a village called Katrala in Kagwad Taluk. And it has 1st to 8th grade, about 250 students, and OSAT is building 3 classrooms and a toilet block. The Bhumi Puja is happening this month. Thank you, Srimati Vanita Belur and Cisco team. Next slide, please. Another example of a team coming together under the leadership of Venki Naniyur and the Cisco team. They came forward in adopting a school in Virajpete Taluk of Kodagu district in Karnataka, a village called Mayamudi. And this school is special in a way. It has got 3 blocks. And one of the blocks, I must tell you, was built in 1925. That was 95 years ago. This reminds me of my school where I studied my 1st grade. My dad had studied in the same school. My tata also had studied in the same school. So there are many schools all over India which are past 100 years, and they all need our support to bring them back to life. So this school, in this school, OSAT is building 4 classrooms, and Bhumi Puja is happening this month. So thank you, Venki Naniyur and the Cisco team. And Sneha and Kirti Melkote, you heard them earlier, and they have been honored earlier in last year 2019 event. And with their support, we are again building a flood-hit school in Melavanki village in Gokak Taluk in Belgaum district. It supports about 580 students, 1st grade to 8th grade, and OSAT is building 4 classrooms and a toilet. And again, we have Krishna Raja Rao, who was honored last time, and Seva Mandara New England Kannada Kota also having come forward to support the cause of OSAT with their generous donations. Next slide, please. So as I said, no donation is small. Every cent counts. Your help and support means a lot in achieving the goal that OSAT has in its mission. So OSAT thanks all the donors and supporters wholeheartedly for your generous support. Thank you. Now I call upon our treasurer, Naren Kunhodi, to present the figures from our pledge drive. Thank you.
Hello, Namaskara. I'm very excited to announce that due to our continuous support from our generous donors, we have received pledges for $120,000 out of our $250K target tonight, out of which we have already received about $6,500 into our account. Thanks everybody for your generous support. Looking forward to reach our 250K milestone tonight. Thanks again.
Thank you, Naren, for the update. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we thank everybody who is participating in the pledge drive. We are going to keep those donation links open so you can continue to pledge throughout the night. Now we have come to that part of the program that everyone is anxiously waiting for. I just want to check with the India team and make sure that we are ready to bring in Pandit Praveen Godkindi. So at this time, everyone please relax and enjoy the program that we are bringing forth to you. Wadi, I'm going to hand it over to Wadi of our India team.
Good morning, good evening, and whichever the time of the day, wherever you are. A warm welcome to Vidyaadana, the grand entertainment program. We are very, very honored to have one of the finest music ensemble led by none other than the world-renowned flute artist, Pandit Praveen Godkindi. He's an artist made from a very humble beginning to an international fame all by himself. And we were the witness to this from the day that when he started his career to now. And he's been amazing across the world, representing India's culture heritage and upholding the torch of classical and fusion music. A warm welcome to Praveen Godkindi, sir. Accompanying him, his next generation, Sharaj Godkindi. He is the torchbearer. He has a very, very long rope to follow his dad. And on the keyboard, we have Sangeet Thomas. And on the tabla, we have Kiran Godkindi. He's another family member. And on rhythm pad, we have Pradyumna Soraba. Without any further delay, please enjoy this wonderful music And we hope that you do continue to support OSAT and contribute to the great cause. Thank you. Over to you, sir.
Welcome to all of you. Indeed, it's a great honor and privilege for me to present a fusion concert with my wonderful team members here. And we begin this concert with the evergreen, ever melodious Rag Hamsa Dhwani. We'll play a brief alap, myself and Shadaj, and then play the very popular composition Lagi Lagan in Hindustani, which is equivalent to Vatapi Ganapatim Bhaje. The tune is very similar, but the Hindustani structure is slightly different. And so we'll explore it melodically and rhythmically also. And then we'll conclude Hamsa Dhwani with a very fast composition in Drut Teen Tal. So sit back, relax, and enjoy Rag Hamsa Dhwani.
Thank you.
was Shadaj Godkhindi, my son. After Hamsadwani, we'll move on to something very special and very dear to my heart. This is something that most of you must have heard this tune. This is from the album Rag Rang, wherein I played a Jugalbandi with the legendary saxophone maestro, Dr. Kadri Gopalnath ji. This is also a tribute to him. And before I start this composition, I would like to say a few words about OSAAT. My association with OSAAT is more than, I guess, 15 years now. So I've been associated with OSAAT, and all of you are aware with the wonderful work that OSAAT has been doing, one school at a time. They adopt rural government schools and improve them to a very great extent, so that all the children studying there get the best facilities, and the education levels is on par with the children who get to study in reputed schools in cities. So I personally love the wonderful work that they've been doing over the years, and I'm also proud to be associated with them. I was part of this troupe called Ganga Kaveri, wherein I performed with my Mridangam Guruji Vidwan Anand Krishna Sharma sir, and several other wonderful musicians. So we toured the USA, and one of our benefit concerts was for OSAAT. And then around 2012 or 13, I also performed again for OSAAT, and this was with the wonderful band of Bay Area, the Raga. So I was a guest artist there, and I really enjoyed, and I still remember that concert, a full audience, and the energy was so high, and a lot of donations that day also came in, and I'm sure most of you are supporting even now, so I'm really, really happy. And I pray to God that more people come forward to help this initiative. So, continuing today's concert, this is Rag Rang, which is based on Rag Malkaus. But then we also improvise the melody, we induce different swaras, and then try to bring in the jazz elements, the Carnatic element, and the folk element, and a little bit of sandalwood, Bollywood, in glimpses. So this is Rag Rang.
Thank you. before I move on to the main composition, I just wanted to introduce to one of my innovations. This is a new instrument that I have introduced, and it's called flutar. It's a combination of flute and guitar. The video is me playing the flute, but the tone that you hear is of an electric guitar. I hope you all enjoy this. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Are there any requests? Okay. So I hope all of you are enjoying this performance. I would like to take this opportunity to introduce my wonderful band here. On the keyboard we have Sangeet Thomas. He's a wonderful keyboard player of our state, a very reputed one and always in demand. Of course, now everybody is at home. So, it has been a tough time for all the musicians. So, along with what OSAAT has been doing for the rural children, I would also want to request all of you to help these wonderful musicians also, in whatever way you can. There are several musicians who are sitting idle for a long time, and by way of arranging concerts or any other way that you can think of, just try to help them so that they can continue this rich heritage that we have of music and art. On the rhythm pads today we have Pradyumna Saurabha. He's a multi-percussionist. He also plays the tabla, he plays the dolak, he plays the tumba, congo, and rhythm pads and whatnot. So he's a gifted, talented young artist of Karnataka. And on the tabla, my elder brother, Sri Kiran Godkhindi, who has been part of my musical journey since childhood. So, and earlier, my son, Shadaj, he played the flute along with me. So, one round of applause for Shadaj too. And I will continue the concert with a medley of songs that are based on ragas. So I have chosen Rag Pahadi because this is one raga that is very popular, evergreen, and liked by everybody. And there are a lot of songs, both in Kannada as well as Hindi, which are loosely based on Pahadi and Mishra Pahadi. So I'll try to make a garland out of it. And I'm also performing this because a lot of people have requested me to perform Pahadi. So Thank you, thank you, thank you. You want Rag Yaman? But I think the time's up. Okay. Just before concluding, I'll play a medley of different ragas, including Yaman. Or I'll just play a small piece in Yaman, and then we'll go to the concluding item. I would like to take this opportunity to thank Pradeep and his entire team, Raghu on the sounds and all the cameramen, for bringing this live. We are here in Bengaluru, in Katriguppe, from this wonderful studio called Prayog Studio. So Pradeep is the person who's handling all the technical part, and I'm sure you are all enjoying today's performance. So thank you, Pradeep. Thank you, Raghu. And I would also like to thank Vadraj for coordinating this event with me, and everyone at OSAAT. Thanks for thinking of me and my band for this wonderful initiative that you have taken up. I once again urge all the people to donate generously, and let's all spread the beauty of kindness, love, and happiness. So I'm indeed honored to be performing for such a wonderful cause, and hope to perform live in Bay Area very soon for OSAAT. So keep supporting music, keep supporting art, and keep supporting all the desired or the needy people and the underprivileged. Thank you once again. This is a short piece in Rag Yaman on request. you.
Before concluding the concert, we want to thank the artists who made this amazing, amazing stream across the globe. It has been a pleasure and a privilege to have none other than Sri Pandit Praveen Godkindi and his team perform for OSAT. Thank you very much, sir. On behalf of OSAT,
thank you.
We would like to give you a small plant that you can plant at your home.
Thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. And we would like to thank Sri Umesh ji for a wonderful keyboards. Sangeet Thomas for supporting us on keyboard. And on tabla, Sri Kiran Godkindi ji. And Pradyumna on the rhythm pad. Yeah. And last but not least, the young and upcoming, the future Godkindi family jewel, Sharaj Godkindi. Thank you again for enthralling entire our audience. Special thanks to our Pradeep Prayog Studio for making this wonderful thing happen to us. Best of luck, and we hope to meet soon with many more such opportunities. Thank you, Ravi sir. Thank you, Praveen sir. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much. So, thank you once again, everybody, from wherever you're watching. I hope you all enjoyed the performance. I'll conclude with the very popular and a magnificent tune, Bhagyada Lakshmi Baramba. Thank you once again.
Namaste, everybody. So we hope all of you have thoroughly enjoyed the mesmerizing, energizing, and uplifting live concert by Pandit Praveen Godkindi and team. So thank you, Praveen Godkindi and team. We really appreciate the beautiful concert, live concert from Bangalore early in the morning. Thank you so much. In spite of the current COVID situation that all of us are in at the current situation, you all have come forward, opened your hearts, opened your wallets, and come forward to present with a pledge, donations, and we really want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I would like to present the latest pledge and donation that we have received at this point of time. Srinivas, would you please display the slide? So here is the latest pledge that we have at this point of time. So we have about $122,000 with 5 people pledging towards a school and a significant cash contribution that has already been received, totaling to an amount of 130,000+. And the donation stream is going to continue to be on. So please come forward, donate for the great cause that we are striving towards in helping the rural infrastructure. As some of the people said, education is the greatest cause for which we can look towards and help people to come forward. So please look into it, come forward, and we really want to thank all the donations, all the pledges that have come forward, and look forward for your support. And with this, I would like to invite our Joint Secretary Suhas Mutatkar to provide the vote of thanks and thank everybody. Over to you, Suhas.
Thank you, Ramesh. Dear friends, a very good evening and good morning to you all. Again, my name is Suhas Mutatkar. I'm a Joint Secretary on the OSAAT Executive Committee. In this event today, we heard from our distinguished guests and our major donors their words of wisdom about giving back and paying it forward. I would just like to add that any endeavor of the magnitude that is OSAAT's mission cannot continue to be successful with the efforts and contribution of just a few. We have to all come together as a community and as a society if we are to achieve such far-reaching goals. And I'm very proud and pleased to say that time and again, I have witnessed and continue to witness that kind-hearted spirit, that desire to give back and make a difference from everyone involved with OSAAT. As this wonderful gathering comes to its conclusion, I would like to take a few minutes to extend my sincerest thanks to everyone who participated in our annual fundraising event today. Namely, I would like to thank Dr. Deshpande for the keynote speech and sharing his views in the Fireside chat. Our chief guest, Shri Vinod Ampapur, for honoring us with his presence in the early morning hours from India. Pandit Praveen Godkhindi and his team for a mesmerizing musical concert and for continuing to support OSAAT. I was literally glued to my screen all the time while he was performing. Thank you, BV Jagdish, for sharing the digital initiative with us and driving the Fireside chat. Thank you all our donors and well-wishers for the generous donations. Thank you all eco partners for helping us drive this event and generous donations. Finally, a big thank you to Srinivas Tirumalaya for providing all required technical help and managing the Zoom live stream and overall digital experience that you all enjoyed today. We are very grateful to you for jumping in and helping us, Srinivas. Thank you. A great thanks to Pradeep Mullur and his team for managing the live concert from Bangalore studio. It was an excellent and flawless performance. I was witnessing it for the very first time, that live streaming. I have to be honest about that. Thank you very much, Pradeep and team. And thank you for all the timely help from the videographers, the cinematographers, and all the people from India team who helped us provide all the collateral that we presented in the event today and the slides that you saw. Thank you, Anand Bhavan, for providing us delicious food for our San Francisco Bay Area donors and families. And very special thanks to the people who actually delivered that food door to door, namely Mohan, Ashwat Narayan, Siddhu Rati, Arvind Sheshadri, Subbu Padmanabh, Ravi Lochan, Srinath Rao, Srinivas PS, and others for door delivering the food. Thank you very much. Finally, I would like to thank OSAAT Board of Directors, OSAAT USA and India teams, all OSAAT core team members, and all other volunteers. Thank you very much. And for all whose names I could not mention here, but they were involved directly or indirectly in helping organizing this wonderful event today, thank you again very much. I appreciate what you do to continue to drive OSAAT's mission. Friends, it was an immense pleasure for me being part of this event. Have a wonderful evening, a good day, and a great weekend. Thank you. Namaste.
Okay.